It's impossible to say how the idea came to me. But once it was there, it didn't leave. It haunted me day and night. I didn't want anything from him, not even his money if he had any. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was his eye. It resembled a vulture's eye. Pale, void, and blue. Whenever it looked at me, my blood ran cold. And each time I saw it, the desire to be rid of it grew. And so, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man and be rid of the eye forever. You should have seen me. How wisely, how carefully, with such focus, I went to work. I was never kinder to the old man than during the week before I killed him. Every night at about midnight, I'd turn the latch of his door and open it so gently. Then, when I had made an opening large enough, I'd peer through. It took me an hour to move just far enough into his room and see him lying in bed, another for both feet to be inside the room. Once my full body was in the room, I carefully opened the blinds. I opened them just enough for a little ray of moonlight to fall upon the vulture's eye. And I did this for 7 long nights. But I always found the eye closed, and so it was impossible to do what was to be done. Each morning, I went boldly into his room. Good morning, sir. Did you sleep well?
Yes, fairly well.
I have breakfast for you ready. Would you like it brought up?
Yes, you're the dearest of daughters.
So you see, he would have had to be a very insightful old man to suspect I watched him in the middle of the night. On the 8th night, I was particularly cautious about opening the door. I stood there, flirting with life and death. The old man couldn't even imagine my plans for him.
Who's there?
I kept very still and said nothing. For 1 entire hour, I did not move a muscle. And all the while, I didn't hear him lie down. He was still in bed, stalking the darkness. After I waited a long time, very patiently, without hearing him lie down, I opened a very little bit of the blinds. You cannot imagine how slightly until a slim, single dim ray shot from the crevice and fell on his vulture eye. It was open, wide, wide open, and I became furious as I gazed upon it. I could not see any other part of the old man, not his face or his body, but the light was shone directly on that damned spot. There came a low, dull, quick sound like a watch enveloped in cotton. I knew that sound well. It was the beating of the old man's heart. It only increased my fury. All the while I kept still. I didn't breathe. I held the cord motionless. Amid the silence of that old house, the beating grew louder, louder. I thought the heart must burst. A new fear entered my mind. A neighbor would hear. It was time. I smiled as I found the job finished, but for a while the heartbeat muffled on. I put my ear to his chest and lay like this for several minutes. After a long time, it stopped. The old man was dead. I moved off the bed and looked at his body. Yes, he was stone dead. His eye was no more. I cut him into pieces. The head and the arms, the legs. Then I tore up 3 planks from the flooring and dropped it all into the cavities. I replaced the planks so well no human eye could have detected the difference. There was nothing to clean, not one stain, not even on my clothing. A bathtub had caught it all.
Hello, ma'am. I'm sorry to disturb you this late at night, but a neighbor overheard a shriek. To put any suspicion to rest, we need to search the premises.
Come in. The shriek, I'm afraid to say, was mine in a dream.
Is it just you and your father here?
Yes, but he's vacationing in the Catskills.
Which way to his bedroom?
Well, follow me. I took my visitors all over the house. I told them to search, and to search well. I had them fooled. Everything was in its rightful place. My behavior was not suspect. Once they were done, I brought chairs into the room. In my triumph, I placed my chair on the very spot over the body of the victim. Sit and rest. Where are you from?
Oh, we're both from the Bronx. Yeah, a real tight-knit neighborhood, you know? I've known him since we were 5.
We were in the Little League together.
You know, I miss the way we used to play ball. The stakes were higher, no helmet, rocks for bases.
Yeah, those were the days.
My kid doesn't even know how to swing a bat in the right direction. I mean, I'm telling you, he's a complete sissy.
When we played, we didn't have helmets. I was playing with Ricky, we were 9, and he threw a mean one. Even then, it struck me right in the middle of my head. I mean, it was like David and Goliath, and pow! My nose was broken and bloody. It was crazy. My mom still says that's the reason why I never graduated college.
How is your mom doing these days?
Wouldn't you want to know? Freak.
Look, man, take it as a compliment. Your mom's aging like fine wine.
I know that the color left my face, but I continued to talk with more manners and a forced voice so they would not suspect me. But the sound increased, and I could do nothing. Why would they not leave? Was I not boring enough? Did they have nothing else to do? I began pacing the floor, irritated to anger by the officers, but the noise. Villains! I confess, tear up the planks! It is the beating of his hideous heart.
Look, lady, I don't know what you're talking about. It's late. We should leave.
No more of these games! Fool, I've given you what you wanted!
What did you say your name was again?
Virginia.
Okay, Virginia. You are under arrest for murder in the 1st degree. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you.
Hey, Tony? What's that sound?
This production of A Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe was written and directed by Kaki Boykin. Produced by Miyana Holden. Sound engineering by Nina Chatterjee. Editing by Tristin Hurst. June Scotus as Virginia. Harshil Singh as Old Man and Police Officer 2. Sean Woods as Police Officer 1.